The gates creaked open slowly, the wrought iron arms parting with ceremonial reluctance. I had forgotten how the gravel on the driveway sounded under tires like bones grinding. The mansion loomed ahead, dressed in twinkling white lights, too perfect, too sterile, the kind of cheer you rent, not feel. I stepped out of the car and read. It was deliberate. The same shade I wore the last time they saw me in this house, Christmas Eve years ago. Joelle had called it attention-seeking. Back then, I believed her. The door opened before I knocked. Joelle stood in a velvet wrap, her hair impeccably waved, smile stretched thin like butter over burnt toast. "Darling, look at you," she purred. "Still so independent." Her eyes dragged down my coat. The red. Behind her, Douglas offered a nod without warmth. Verity glanced, smirked. "Coulter?" He looked past me. Inside, the fireplace burned, scenting the house with cinnamon and suggestion. I stepped in anyway. "Ever returned to the same room where you were broken, just to prove you've healed?" Joelle always wrapped gifts like magazine spreads, hand-tied silk, no tape visible. This one sat squarely on my lap at the tree. "Go on," she encouraged, tone dipped in mock wonder. I peeled the paperback. A gift card tumbled out, followed by a slim book. "Last Chance Love," read the app tagline. The book? How to Live Alone and Like It. Verity snorted. "God, Mom, savage." Coulter cleared his throat. Douglas sipped his scotch. I smiled. Slow. Classy. I placed the box neatly beside me. They always say they're helping. It always feels like shoving. You ever get a gift that wasn't for joy but judgment? What did you do? Smile through it? Or shove it back? Dinner that night was roast and ritual. Joelle raised her glass with theatrical ease. "Remember," she laughed, when Marla mailed herself a wedding invite during her solo self-love phase. Forks froze. My hand twitched under the tablecloth. A flash. Reese's hand sealing that FedEx envelope. The rose gold wax. My name. Returned. Unopened. "They didn't come," he had whispered. "Let's do it our way." I reached for the wine. Poured. Sipped. They laugh at the past, not knowing it still burns. Ever had your happiest day erased by silence? Dessert came. Coulter passed the champagne bottle, paused. My hand reached. The ring caught light. A flicker in his eyes. His jaw shifted. He knew. I tilted my hand just slightly. Let it shine. A choice. A challenge. He looked away. Silence is a kind of betrayal too. Have you ever seen someone witness your truth and choose not to speak? Seating was strategic. Always had been. Verity and her fiancé at the center. Joelle at her command post. Douglas like a monolith. Me. Far end. Next to the coat rack and a heater unplugged since fall. A cousin laughed. "You like being alone anyway, right?" I lifted my fork. Verity shared wedding plans like they were Oscar nominations. Applause followed. They think I'm still waiting. They think I lost. No explosion. No declaration. Stillness is sharper than steel. Sometimes the cruelest place isn't outside. It's being inside and still unseen. The final toast rang out. Crystals clinked. The chandelier splashed fractured light over my untouched glass. Joelle beamed. Verity glowed. Coulter stared at his plate. Let them toast. I'm not here to be celebrated. I'm here to be seen. The dining room was overlit, the chandelier casting diamonds on every polished surface. The air thickened with the perfume of roasted duck and floral arrangements. Crystal clinked as Joelle rose from her chair, glass in hand. "To Verity and Coulter," she began, her voice sing-song and rehearsed. "May your love be ever true, your future bright, and your union." She paused, casting a performative glance around the table, that worthy of celebration. A ripple of polite laughter followed. She turned to me, eyes gleaming. "And to Marla," she added, raising her glass an inch higher. "May your time come too, sweetheart." That word again. Sweetheart. Laughter this time was thinner. Uneasy. I stared into my glass. Coulter shifted. His fingers, wrapped around the stem of his flute, tensed. I let the pause linger just long enough, then lifted my own glass, calm and steady. It already did. The room froze. Ever been erased from your own story, and then dared to write yourself back in? Verity's giggle choked midway. Douglas lowered his fork. Joelle blinked slowly, waiting for a punchline that didn't come. I got married, I said, placing my glass gently on the linen. 8 months ago. Silence spread like spilled ink. Reese and I said our vows on a beach in Big Sur. 2 witnesses. Sunset. Quiet. And perfect. Joelle's face barely moved, but her knuckles whitened on the silverware. Douglas opened his mouth, but she raised one manicured hand. He closed it. I smiled. It's okay if you forgot. I brought the receipts. From my clutch, I drew out the FedEx slip first. 2-day priority, signature required. The envelope had come back unopened. Next, printed screenshots of email threads, RSVP links, the custom wedding website. I flipped to my call log. 4 calls. Voicemail too. Around mid-May. Before I stopped trying, I watched them process it. Verity's nostrils flared. Coulter looked away. Nina, who'd been refilling water, paused behind Joelle, then quietly walked out. Joelle finally scoffed. There must have been a mix-up with the staff. A pattern, I replied. Not a mistake. What's worse, being forgotten or being ignored on purpose? Coulter cleared his throat. Everyone turned. I saw you, he said slowly. In Vegas. That weekend. Verity's head snapped toward him. You were with someone. A woman in white. I thought it was a friend's elopement or something. I met his eyes. You thought right. Verity's voice came sharp. You didn't think to mention that. Coulter didn't answer. His silence did. The truth doesn't ask permission. It waits. When someone sees your truth but says nothing, are they a bystander or a betrayer? Verity's voice cracked the air. You've always been a thief. I turned. Excuse me. She leaned forward. Mom's wedding ring. You stole it when we were kids. Played dress up like some desperate little bride. The words hung there, petty and poisonous. I didn't flinch. I borrowed it, because no one ever thought I'd wear one for real. Joelle exhaled. Let's not dwell on old wounds. I looked directly at her. You live in the past. I just stopped letting it define me. Sometimes it's not about what they remember. It's about what they never let you forget. A faint flicker. Then the TV above the sideboard turned on. We all turned. Footage played silently. Wind through seagrass, golden light, the curve of a white dress. My voice, clearer than I remembered. I do. Reese kissed me. The ocean behind us roared like applause. Joelle's wine glass slipped, catching on the edge of her plate. Douglas's jaw flexed. Verity's mouth opened, closed. I didn't look at the screen. I looked at them. I didn't show them to be seen. I showed them so they'd never pretend again. The video's glow vanished from the screen, just as Verity screamed. She stole my boyfriend in college. Reese was mine first. Her voice cracked, like the ice outside the Wynn estate shattering in the winter chill. Gasps erupted, but not for the reason Verity expected. Eyes clouded with shock, resentment, confusion. I sat perfectly still, the words hitting, but not hanging on me. I had already moved. And yet, I said softly, she married me. The silence exploded. Coulter pushed away from the table, his chair squealed, his engagement ring buried in his pocket. The room turned battlefield. Plates paused, wine glasses tipped, glances ricocheted off cuffs and ribbon bows. When you speak your truth, some people will weaponize your past. What would you do? Gregory Madsen's message flashed on Douglas's phone. We're done. The contract's void. The silence in Douglas's face cut deeper than any argument. Verity paled. The empire she expected to marry into collapsed like a house of cards. Joelle hissed from behind Lace. Fix it. Apologize. Beg if you must. Douglas's voice seldom heard. No. Reputation can be built in decades and destroyed in minutes. What matters is who you are without it. Outside, the snow drifted quietly. Joelle caught me on the path, her fur stole untouched by the cold. If you care about this family, you won't let this story spread. Her voice cracked, not sorrow but transaction. You didn't care when I asked you to stand beside me, I said. You've already won. Don't ruin your sister, she whispered. She ruined herself the day she decided my silence was weakness. I paused. Is protecting someone still noble if it means sacrificing justice? I placed a wedding invitation card, Reese Donnelly and Marlowin, on the kitchen island. Verity shrieked. Joelle's stare went blank. Douglas walked in, tired eyes. Your mother forbade me from going. I should have gone anyway. He looked at me, then nodded. I didn't need your presence, I said. I needed your backbone. Sometimes closure doesn't come from apologies. It comes from understanding what you'll no longer tolerate. I walked into the driveway. Frost crunched under boots. A car waited under the street lamp's halo. Reese stepped out, scarf in hand, wind teasing her hair. No words. I draped the scarf, handed over the torn check for $50,000 from his father's company. I looked back. No hatred, only calm. As fireworks lit the sky for the impending new year, I whispered, I'm not coming back. My phone buzzed, ready when you are. Would you choose vengeance or peace? A USB stick sat on the mantel. Nina strode in, quiet, collected. She picked it up. She glanced at the door I had passed through. The future awaited. The lies had nowhere to hide.